Alright guys, welcome to Lessons with Lenski, key issue 4, why do migrants face obstacles? Hey, we got a nice happy looking Aaron Rodgers that we're going into key issue 4. That's me pretending like I play for the Packers. Alright, let's get started because 15 minutes goes by fast. Alright, so we're going to talk about intervening obstacles and intervening opportunities right now. So intervening obstacles, you guys might have saw this in your reading for key issue 3. These are split into two different categories. Environmental features, which would be mountains, rivers, deserts, anything that is difficult to cross would be an obstacle. A political feature that could be an obstacle could be something just as simple as restrictive immigration laws, which we would see in Mexico, on Mexico's border with the United States, as well as anywhere where Syrian refugees are trying to enter. Intervening opportunities, however, are different. This is the idea that there's a presence of a nearer opportunity that greatly diminishes the attractiveness of something farther away. So, we have small town A, B, and C. Okay, so small town A is linked to B by a really rugged, simplistic dirt road that's one lane. Alright? And then small town A and C are connected with a nice 2-lane paved highway. And although it is 5 miles farther, I would want to take that because it's smoother. All right. So there would be an intervening opportunity for city B to build a smoother road. So if the county built a new 5-mile long paved 4-lane highway between A and B, in this case, most people who live in A would probably stop going the extra 5 miles to city C because city B took advantage of this intervening opportunity. Okay, so read through that if you don't understand it, and maybe if you have to draw a visual, that might help you. Okay. Controlling migration. Countries have adopted selective immigration policies, and these show preference to specific employment placements and different job markets, and they show preference to people who are trying to reunify their family. So, in 1921, the Quota Act was passed, and in 1924, the National Origins Act is passed. These are going to restrict the flow of immigration into the United States. All right. So imagine you guys have a one of those blue inflatable pools that you guys pop up for summer, put away for the winter. Imagine that has a hole in it. Okay. Maybe it's an inch around. Water is kind of it's going out. Okay. And it's right next to your mom's garden. So if you guys were to patch it, maybe there would be some water trickling into the garden. However, if that hole was open, your mom's garden would be flooded. She would be upset, and everything would kind of get destroyed. That's kind of what they're doing here. Okay. The idea that, if you can just control the flow a little bit more, you can make different, policies or adjustments to, deal with that extra, water or extra immigrants coming into wherever you are. All right, so brain drain, big thing to know for 1, life, 2, the class. Okay, so brain drain is the idea of giving preference to skilled workers in certain fields, such as technology or medicine, doctors of all sorts. So European countries and U.S. contribute to brain drain heavily. They're trying to get the best and brightest people from all over the world to come to their countries to just better whatever industry they're trying to, improve. So that might be Google bringing in a ton of people from Indonesia because they have this huge population of, maybe 300 people that are like really bright and they just want to bring them in. Well, now Indonesia doesn't have those 300 smart people, okay? So its impact, it's a big factor for these countries who are losing people because now, not that they have not smart people, but they're just losing their best and brightest, okay? Moving on. Brain drain contributes to this thing called chain migration. Okay, the idea that if I were the most renowned brain surgeon in the world, and I was, if I was selected by the United States to come to practice medicine in New York, and I lived there for a year, well, that would mean that my family would then come over after time. The idea that if I've gone over, set myself, got some money, got a place to live, and, got my feet solid in New York, my family could come over, and then migrate there as well. Okay? Many different examples of this. That's just one. Okay? Controlling migration. So, don't need to go over this slide. We just kind of went over it. Unauthorized immigration. This is big for pop culture right now, current events. Okay, so unauthorized immigrants are those who enter a country without proper documents. This isn't specific for Syrian refugees or Hispanic people coming from Latin American countries. This was big in the 1900s as well. Okay, the characteristics of unauthorized immigrants, I'll get to another slide too. But roughly 58% emigrate from Mexico. Okay, a lot of children coming from other countries. About 1 million are children just kind of crossing the border. However, unauthorized immigrants give birth to about 4.5 million children on U.S. soil. Now, this brings up the issue: do we send the children home with the parents if they are deported, or because these are U.S. citizens, do they stay here and go into foster care, or do you just let the family stay here? So you're seeing that issue there of that conundrum, all right, of what do we do because we don't want to break up these families. So here's a chart showing you guys some statistics from 2000 to 2010. On immigrants. Obviously, if it stops at 2010, some of these data points, like on this previous slide, might be a little outdated, but you get the point, okay? What you're seeing here, unauthorized immigration, years in the United States is going up. The idea that residency, or the ability to stay in the United States, that length of time that people are getting, is slowly but surely starting to grow. People are getting a longer amount of time here. All right. This is actually a pretty interesting stat, and this has probably gone up, like I said. But in 2010, 35% of adults that had been in the United States had been here for at least 15 years. So this isn't an issue that just popped up in 2000. It's been around for a while. Okay. After the Quota Acts were passed, people are going to start to illegally immigrate or find their way into the United States. Okay, so as far as labor force, approximately 8 million unauthorized immigrants are employed in the United States, and this number is probably way bigger now. Okay, I'll get to that in another slide. However, the distribution of these immigrants are going to be in Texas and California primarily. I'll show you guys a border picture in a little while, and you guys can kind of understand that. So, boom, right there. You have the border as promised. Good old city of Chihuahua, named after the Taco Bell dog. Okay, so you guys can so you can get a reference point as to where the border is within Texas. You can kind of understand why they share so much land with Mexico and Texas. Okay, moving on. So unauthorized immigrants. There's two ways to view this, right? There's always two sides to the coin. So the United States recognizes the motives that bring people here, okay? Employment opportunities, family reunification, and just overall a better way of life. However, on the flip side, you kind of have a two-part battle here. You have people in the North thinking that the United States should feel more compassion towards the people who are trying to cross the border and gain that better way of life. However, on the southern end of Mexico, we have the same as the United States. All right? So we have the southern Mexican people saying that the unauthorized immigrants from Guatemala are probably taking jobs or contributing to crime, things like this. So you're kind of seeing the same thing in the United States in Mexico. Okay, so the North wants to come in to the United States. However, the South doesn't want the people from their South. The people from Mexico South don't want people from their North in Guatemala coming in. If that makes sense, pat yourself on the back. All right. Attitudes towards immigrants in the United States. We kind of know there's some sort of hostility. The people don't like the idea of people coming in illegally. The idea that you can't control the populations coming in really bothers people. Okay. Border Patrol, they would really like to get a more effective Border Patrol plan in place, but money is always the issue. Okay. Workplace. Most recognize that unauthorized immigrants take a lot of U.S. citizens' jobs. That's a belief. Okay. But these people understand that they're taking jobs that we wouldn't necessarily take. Or there's just a market where people are getting paid under the table that we couldn't take. So that could be farm jobs in the South, things like this. Okay. Migrant characteristics. Typically, long-distance migrants are male. Also, long-distance migrants are adult individuals in the 25 to 39 year old range. Okay. Women really didn't make up a huge population of immigrants to the United States within the 19th and 20th century. But in the 21st century, we see 55% make up the U.S. immigration from different countries. So things are changing. Maybe not as many males are coming, or maybe just all the males are here. Now women are following. We'll never know. So, attitudes towards immigrants in the United States. The idea of civil rights. U.S. citizens are in favor of letting law enforcement people stop and check people's status. However, there's that fear of where are people's civil rights being infringed upon, because you don't want to be racially profiled. If I'm walking down the street and I'm a Hispanic man, I don't want somebody to just drive up and say, hey, you kind of look like somebody who might have crossed the southern border. Let me see your ID. Really, really muddy water there. I would not want that to happen to me. So I understand kind of where that lies. Okay. Local initiatives. People believe in the United States, based on this poll, that that unauthorized immigration is a very big issue in our country, and it is. If you just watch the news, you guys will see a lot of it. But it should be dealt on a federal level, not a local level. Okay. A lot of people believe that there should be sanctuary cities. Moving on to the next slide. Immigration concerns in the European countries is about the same. So a lot of hostility here, and they're disliked by a lot of Europeans. The biggest fear is kind of this degradation of culture. The different religions, languages, food, and cultural habits of these people might wash away some European cultures, and they don't really want that. Okay. They're also blamed for crimes, unemployment rates, and high welfare costs. Same in the United States. Okay. Here's a good migration pattern. Poland to Germany, more than 50,000 people here. And then Romania to Spain. Just some big ones, Romania to Italy. Moving on. Immigration concerns in Europe. I think there was one point that I wanted to make. Oh, just the idea that a lot of Europeans were in the same boat as these other people. They were moving from state to state within Europe, and now these people are getting mad at somebody else for kind of taking the same route that they did. So it's kind of, why are you being a hypocrite? Yeah, it's years later, but we're still in the same boat here. Okay. That's it for Key Issue 4. You guys are all wrapped up for Chapter 2.5 on migration. You guys did a great job. Make sure that you guys have your reading guide all set. And I hope you guys enjoyed another Lessons with Lenski. All right, peace out.